G'day watchers, welcome to Perth Watch, your horology channel broadcasting from right here in Perth, Western Australia. Today I have the current piece from Venezianico. Now I think this is about the fourth, maybe even the fifth piece I've had from them. So, nice ongoing collaboration. The typical package is sustainable, about 3, I think, doesn't rotate very much on this new surface that I have here in terms of the spin rating, but fully recyclable packaging, which some people will definitely appreciate. 4 links I have removed for this particular piece to fit my wrist. So anyway, let's just take it out and show it to you guys in closer details. So guys, here we have the new Venezianico Arsenale 40mm, or at least that's what they call it for the case size, in Anthracite. Now this also comes in a blue and I think a purple. I'll put screenshots right here to let you see how it looks like on the website in terms of the colorways. The actual pricing here, 656 euros, which is pretty substantial, so we'll have to go into whether this will meet your requirements in terms of how much they are asking here. Right. First up, as I usually do, let's talk first about the movement in here, which is none other than a 9000 series Miyota. They've actually chosen a specific movement which suits the characteristics of this watch, which is much appreciated. There's no ghost stay in this particular one. It is specifically a 2-hand movement with no seconds on the display here. Rated accuracy of the 9000 series you can see on the left of screen here. I haven't had a chance to put this on a time grapher. In a sense, it probably doesn't matter. I know it's gonna fall into that particular range, and it's not gonna let you time it so specifically without the second hand anyway. All right, moving on to the case then. So over here, we have a 40mm 316L steel case. Okay, so the actual diameter is 40 millimeters, but if you just look at the bezel, which is slightly in from the case, the bezel itself is 38.5 millimeters if you're interested in these particular types of measurements. Overall, the thickness is actually very pleasing. One of the best things about this watch, only 9.1 as measured by calipers, including the top of the crystal there, 9.1 millimeters, which is really one of the thinner watches I have featured, I think, in terms of a mechanical watch on the channel. 13mm lug width, if that's of meaning. Probably not very meaningful because there's an integrated lug here. So between my thumbnails is 13mm. Lug to lug distance, so between my thumbnails from there to there, right, is actually 44.5. So I guess if you're going to consider this particular lug length, is actually quite small, but just keep in mind the integrated bracelet, of course, sticks out a little bit from there. Overall weight with the 4 links I removed is 126 grams, which is actually fairly pleasing. It is still substantial. You still feel it on the wrist, but actually on the light side as far as metal bracelet watches go. Right, finishing wise. Okay, so you have a polished bezel. There is a bit of a knurled edge on the side here, and they call that, I guess, a tribute to the Arsenal towers. Now the watch actually, the name is actually the shipyards, the war shipyards, if you will, of Venice. All right, that's really where the name comes from. And the towers at the mouth of the Arsenal, apparently these knurled bits here call into a feature of the tower. Make of that what you will. In terms of the rest of the finishing here, long brushing on the top of the case, long brushing on the sides. There is a polished top bevel, which you can very, very easily see there. So nice, obvious polished top bevel there. The bottom is actually a bit of a matte finish, which is really interesting. They've done that. In terms of the case back, hopefully I can show it to you very obviously there. So 6 screws securing that case back to keep that artwork upright, right? That's actually the shipyard that it shows there at night with the moon in view there, right? The Venetian shipyards, laser etching of that artwork, and screw down for the side crown on the side here. With all that construction, unfortunately, they've only rated this for 50 meters, which is, I would say, slightly disappointing. I think they could have pushed that a bit further. Let's discuss that later. Okay, so moving on to the dial then. So what we have here is an anthracite vertical Côtes de Genève dial, right? So there's Geneva stripes, if you will. That's really the decoration on the dial here. It's got applied logo, applied indices, so 12 indices all the way around the side here. But it's got a printed chapter ring around the periphery and the printed Venezianico at the 6 o'clock position. That's really the only wording on the entire dial here. So very clean, really almost a clean skin dial here, apart from that word down the bottom and the logo up the top here, which can be very pleasing to some people. The hands are polished skeleton style Dauphine hands, right? There's no second hand, as mentioned before. And in this dress style watch, absolutely no loom whatsoever, which is okay. You know, I don't mind that they haven't. A bit more utility would have added some loom here, but you know, they've gone for pure dress style, which is okay, I think. Right, on top of the dial then is a flat sapphire crystal. It's got some AR there, not the most fantastic AR, but it's got some AR and it's a flat sapphire. All right, moving on to the bracelet, right? This is their, what they call their signature kind of a H link, right? They've done this on a couple of other watches. So it's got long brush on the top here, long brush on the sides, but it's got a polished bevel. So not just on the side here, but in those convex pieces in between the H's. It's got a, you know, polished bevel as well. Hopefully I am demonstrating that all right with my camera work here. Okay, so at the case, it's 25.5 millimeters wide. It tapers down to 17 millimeters at the narrowest portion here. It does have screw link adjustment. Okay, so you can see the screw links there, which is nice. They're fairly small screws, but still screws. And of course, you've seen this already. It's a button release butterfly clasp, which not everybody likes. I realize that not everybody enjoys butterfly. There's no micro adjustment on these types of bracelets. So, you know, a slight negative, if you will, in terms of considering this watch. Okay, so that's the entire description. I'm going to pop it on the wrist now for a wrist shot for you guys. And there we have it, the Venezianico Arsenale 40mm case, right? Lug distance, I guess not particularly meaningful at 44.5 lug to lug there. But what is meaningful, it is only 9.1 millimeters thick. Very, very pleasing. And there we go. That's the look on the wrist with that particular bracelet. Right, so that's the description, guys. What have I liked about this watch? What I think are the good things? Well, look, I think it is an attractively designed, dressy, yet slightly utilitarian package. It's not completely sports. It doesn't have loom, but there's some utility in that it's slightly less dressy with this, you know, very strong looking bracelet, I would say. Interesting dial choice, right? It's got the Côtes de Genève there. This can be quite mesmerizing in particular lighting conditions, not in the indoor light I have here, but you know, if you have the sunlight falling in a certain way, it really can reflect this quite nicely. Sorry, I'm not demonstrating very well with my lighting in here. It's got typical good quality finish from Venezianico, right? It's a very nicely done case, a solid bracelet, good finishing, and in this case, excellently thin. That's really, I would say, one of the best features, really, how thin this is and how it sits on the wrist. Very, very low profile for a dress type watch here. And of course, this, you know, good quality signature integrated bracelet, if you will. What are the weaknesses? Well, I've already mentioned the butterfly, right? Not everybody likes that. I would say 50-meter rating on the, you know, such robust construction is a bit disappointing. I think they could have easily pushed this to 100, and then it would be truly more of an everyday watch, minus the loom, of course. You know, I think they could have really done better on that. The bracelet finishing on this prototype doesn't quite match the case, but you know, I'll show a screen grab right here that they've assured me that the production models, right, this silver, this polished bit will match the case a lot better, more perfectly here. Okay, so that's just a prototype thing. The Arsenal link, right, the shipyard link, I think is tenuous at best. You know, it's a really, I guess, slightly more of a marketing historic thing. You would think that if you're going to call this a shipyard watch, this would be a diver. But hey, that's just my opinion. And then lastly, the pricing, right? So they're not cheap, right? Venezianico do push at the upper end of the micro range here. Over 600 euros, I would say many of you guys probably would like to see a SW200 or equivalent Swiss movement. But, they've got a Miyota 9000. Let me know what you think about that. And there you go, guys. That's my thoughts and my review of the Venezianico Arsenale 40mm. This one in anthracite dial. Look forward to the conversation and thoughts you guys have to share in the comments below. Let me know what you think. Thank you again for joining me on this review. And as always, I'll catch you guys next time.